And we're going to the auction, guys. Trust me, this will save time in the long run. Where's Hosma set up this time? On site at some abandoned estate. Just outside town, it's about to be torn down, but they found a trove of arcade games in the basement. So exciting! I love arcade raids. Arcade auctions. Raids. Auctions. You guys got an arcade English dictionary I could borrow? Francine, without looking up from her knitting, answers. A raid is when a bunch of collectors get together and rescue games before they can be junked by their original owner. An auction is when someone sells off their arcade games one at a time to a crowd of active bidders. So, which is this, a raid or an auction? It's both, dearie. Hamza, that sweet boy, buys up private collections before they can be thrown away. He rescues them from that terrible fate, and then auctions off his finds, sort of. Okay, now I'm fuzzy on the sort of part. I'm the newbie here, remember? Well, okay, so Hamza obviously auctions off games for cash money, but he's a very whimsical kind of guy. Once I saw him trade off a vintage Burger Time in exchange for someone's super secret chili recipe passed down through generations of family. In other words, he's just on the edge of being a loon. This would be a lot simpler if it was just a raid. We pay up front, we declare what games we want, and cart them away. Instead, he ambushes up with an impromptu auctions and makes us come down there to entertain his whims. I think it's so sweet. He wants to make sure that the games go to good homes, to people who really want them, even if they can't pay. And really, we should be honored we got an invitation. He's trying to cut out the big franchises arcades like Deco's Palace and help the little guy like us. It's inefficient and relies entirely on keeping on Hamza's good side. Huh? Hammond's right, this could be a lot simpler. Helping out the little guy sounds good here. It does look like the Mystery Machine now that I'm looking at it. Helping out the little guy sounds good here. Gavin's right, this could be a lot simpler. I'm guessing Hamza's the sort of person who would let a kid have the game of his dreams for free. He doesn't care about the money, he cares about the people, am I right? Correctamundo! Hamza's a great guy. Is he hard to predict? Sure, but he's got a great big heart, and that means something in this business. Not enough big hearts left some days. Yes, because that's how you pay the bills and keep the doors open, by having a big heart. I won't deny we can sometimes squeak out a trade that's practically a steal thanks to his personal modus operandi, but let's not push too far here. We need to temper our expectations a little, I suspect. We don't have a lot of room to add many more games, especially relics like Hamza usually deals in. What about the off-site storage unit? We can just rotate games in and out more often. Nearly full to bursting and not cheap for us to rent on a monthly basis. I'm not saying we have to go home empty-handed. Certainly a few holes in our roster we can fill, should we find an excellent deal and beat the other bidders. But consider this, above anything else, a way to maintain relations with Hamza, even if we don't end up bidding. Now, Naomi, heaven knows the numbers. I'm in favor of making our little funplex more and more fun, but floor space is finite. And Gavin, remember, if we find some darling little game Naomi would lavish adoration upon, we can always retire an older game. Life, my young friends, is a series of trade-offs. Well, isn't it better to, just settle and compromise all the time? Well, now, there are trade-offs and there are trade-offs. Did I read that right? It's silly to say you should never compromise, as silly as it is to say you should always compromise. It's what you compromise that defines who you are. You're all so young, yet you've time to make mistakes in learning what trades you need to make. Unless you don't want rent on your apartment, or your stomach's growling. Iris and Juniper have pushed me to stop settling for less out of life, to stand up for myself and my happiness. And I've done just that without regret. So everything should be fine now, right? Right? New default topic diversion, the weather. Well, at least a nice day for an outing, right? Oh. You spoke too soon. Oh, come on. Wonderful. Glad I packed plastic bags to wrap cabinets just in case. That's our Gavin, always thinking ahead. Trying to protect our investments, huh? From Hamza's invitation, it seems this arcade was largely abandoned and left to rot. I'd rather not add water damage to the ailments the games are already suffering. It's so sad when we come across a wonderful game that's just ruined beyond repair. Most collectors show their collections a lot of love, but others just don't care. You find old games in barns exposed to the elements and falling apart. I suppose this is one thing we can easily agree on. It's important to take care of our games. I want to check the stats, to be honest. So they're tied. Interesting. Okay. Oh, wait. I wanted to press escape to get back, but I guess not. Return to game. For their resale value, you mean? A broken game's no fun to play with, and it's a shame to see a classic in terrible condition. Consider pinball. Pinball games are very prone to breakdowns, particularly older ones. To experience them in their glory, you need to show them care. Even beyond a busted game earning no quarters, it feels like a waste to allow an enjoyable game to lie fallow, and a waste of true potential. Huh, good point. Glad to see these two getting along better, even if Naomi kept preemptively attacking him along the way there. With the rain pounding down on the van roof, conversation gets a bit difficult. Gradually, everybody resumes fiddling about with their phones, knitting, or driving, leaving me to wonder exactly where is this auction and our raid happening. Anyway, we've been driving for some time, leaving the city far behind. What would a massive trove of arcade games be doing this far out into the sticks? Maybe it's some closed down roller rink or an old bowling alley or maybe it's a creepy old house that's likely haunted by exactly 87,194 ghosts. The classic storm luck in play. So majestically awful. Gavin pulls up any number of other vans and trucks. We're here a little late, it seems. Oh no. Good grief, is this really the auction site? Creepy, definitely creepy. At least an 8 on the creepometer. An old home has character. I feel let's not judge it by the exterior, shall we? With all speed, the group hurries inside to get away from the weather. A larger group has already gathered in the foyer of the crumbling estate, but one rushes forward to greet us in a blur as the others pay little mind. Hemzo welcomes our friends from the Funplex. Welcome, welcome. Gavin stalwart as ever. Naomi, love what you've done with your hair. Miss Francina, beautiful, surpassed only by your wisdom. Oh, fresh. And a new player, it seems. Who might you be? Z Storm. I see. Greetings to you and yours. I am known as Hamza, seeker of antiquity, finders of things, lost players of games, and welcome to, well, not my home, but a place where Hamza shall provide hospitality regardless. Kind of a dump, isn't it? Seeker of antiquity in 1980. Something is antique. Thank you. I'm gonna stay neutral here. Thank you for your invitation, Mr. Hamza. I understand you only invite a select few. The Funplex is proud to accept your summonings. Now you sound like me. Indeed, I am very careful who I allow to my events. These machines deserve owners who will respect and appreciate them. Hamza will accept nothing less. Alas, I am not a moment to enjoy your fine company, Z-Storm. Perhaps later, but for now, it is time. Clapping twice for attention, Hamza rallies the small crowd in the room to begin the proceedings. Friends, companions, longtime allies of the noble art of the arcade, welcome, welcome to Donnawood. Its story begins nearly 30 years ago, when legendary pop musician Donna Michaels, a singer of such hits as Thrilling and Mama Don't Mope, did a stately pleasure dome decree. Here's the reclusive idol crafted a private amusement park, a petting zoo, and an arcade. Alas, she could only enjoy this paradise for a short 10 years before her tragic death. Needless to say, the estate has fallen on hard times ever since, and this year it shall be torn down to make a way for condominiums. But not before we have our say. Friends, those games that Donna Michael cherished still lurks one floor below, ready to be rescued from such a terrible fate. It is our moral imperative to do so. I have paid the estate owners a pricely sum for the entire lot. Now Hamza parcels them out to you. By all means, browse the collection, see which pieces sing out to you. On the far table you shall find refreshments, grapes, sparkling wine, and delicacies from my travels. Mingle, cavort, and we shall begin the auction in 1 hour's time. Indeed, a lavishly arranged table that probably cost more than any single arcade game to put together is descended upon the invitees soon after. I feel like I'm attending some ancient Roman celebration of debauchery and gluttony, not an arcade raid or an arcade auction or whatever. Donna Michaels. I knew it. I should have recognized Donna Wood when we pulled in, but it was raining too hard. Who? You've never heard of Donna Michaels? She was the hottest musical act of 1980-something. Naomi, I was born in 1990. I am younger than the main character. Cool. 90-something. I'm totally plugging my phone into the van stereo so we can blast Girls Just Want to Play Games all the way home. Saying girls just want to have fun? I feel like I should know. Sorry about that. Got something in my throat. But first, I'm gonna go check out the cabinets in our arcade. I'm not really into mingling. Later. She dashes off with all speed, heading for the stairs leading below. Suppose I should go network a bit. Hamza's events always draws an interesting crowd of rival arcade owners. Heading for the foodstuffs, Gavin arranges himself a plate so he has the excuse to hang around and eavesdrop on the other collectors. Leading me to do stuff. Now I see why Ashley was bored at these events. Gavin schmoozes, Naomi analyzes finds, and Francine's already napping a chair. I've got nothing to do. Well, when in doubt, find someone who knows what they're doing and stick to them like glue. We're gonna go with Naomi, guys. Go browse the games with Naomi. I'm really not interested in the arcade version of Game of Thrones going on up here. Gavin can handle these guys. Me, I want to see the legendary arcade Hamza was talking up, so I head downstairs to join Naomi. Whoa. Is this a private collection or a full-fledged arcade? I was expecting a handful of games and a pool table or something, but this is easily 3 times larger than the Funplex itself. Even coated in dust and despair, it's awe-inspiring. And it's also hard to find anyone in this maze of tightly packed games. Invitees are browsing the available stock to decide what's worth bidding on, making it crowded as well. But eventually I locate Naomi, practically cuddling a narrow-looking TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles machine. Oh! See, look, a 2-player variant of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These were only released in the Oceania region, such a rare find. Wait, wasn't that a game originally 4-player? Why would anyone want a version with only 2 joysticks? Well, because, I mean, it's rare to find. And it's less fun. Not the point. Why are we being such a bitch to her? Anyway, it's hard to find one of these 2 players or 4 players. I'd love to have it for the arcade. I'd love to have that, and this one, and... Oh, if only I could take all these homes with me. I mean, some have water damage, others likely have busted CRTs and controls. They all need work, but... I recall the game she was working on when I first met her. Extensive repairs needed just to make it playable. So not only would you have to bid and win the game, but you'd have hours of work and plenty of spare parts to purchase ahead of you. I know, isn't it great? Okay, is there a nice way to say this? I know you love restoring these games, but do we actually have money for more new projects? I would probably be blunt about it. Naomi, before you get ahead of yourself, let's stop and think. It's a question of resources above all else. Buying the games, obtaining parts, paying you per hour to repair it. I don't think the Funplex can support many more of these rescue projects. You sound just like Gavin. I'd make the time. I'd work for free. I'd do whatever it takes to give these games the care and love they deserve. Wow, you're committed. It's admirable that you want to devote so much of yourself to the games, but the games we do have need your love too. Even you have your limits. You have to accept that reality. Naomi sighs, frustrations building. I know. I mean, I'm not dense. I know there's only so much we can realistically do, so many projects I can actually take on, but I wish I can do more. I wish we could do more. The Funplex has never really been a success, even before I came on board. It was always struggling to stay afloat. I joined it because so few arcades still have the games I love. But I can't turn our situation around, can I? No matter how hard I try. This was my first job. Part of me is hoping it'll be my last job too, that I can happily spend all my days tinkering with these wonderful games. Every kid says they want to be a fireman or an astronaut or a robot cop or something, but nobody actually ends up doing that. Except me. I want to fix up arcade games, and that's what I'm doing. It's all I've ever wanted to do. When I see all these old broken games, I just know them. I just want to show them the love I can give. I could be happy working on them for the rest of my life. Wow, that's dedication. And really, you went straight from school to an arcade job? I mean, I meandered from job to job, never really sure what I wanted. That's normal, right? Oh, definitely, I'm the oddball here. It's funny, I followed my heart and found just what I wanted, what I needed, and now, well, now I'm scared someday it'll all come to an end. The Funplex will close. And as the Funplex go under, I really don't know what I'm going to do. All I've ever wanted to do was work in an arcade, and I'm literally living my dream. Okay, now I feel bad for bringing down our day. Hey, look, you never know, right? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll find a game down here that brings in thundering herds and players. Right! It's a slim hope, and we both know it, but Naomi clings to it immediately, eagerly. My low bank balance and grumbling stomach means I need to cling to that hope as well. I made my choice. Now I need to make that choice work. We just need to find the right game, something nobody's playing in a long time, something that'll tug at the nostalgia strings. It's difficult finding the right balance, especially in the year 20-something. A lot of these games are on life support, borrowed time. But they can be repaired, right? Well, yeah, for now. But CRTs, the monitors that powered these old games before LCDs and now 3D flats started replacing them, they're in short supply. Nobody makes them anymore. I mean, who buys a tube-based TV anymore? Nobody. It's all high definition and that dumb 3D projection tech, which looks awful. Nobody appreciates a good CRT anymore. Aren't high-def displays way cheaper, though? I've seen some old games running them in other arcades. They're wrong, is what they are. These games weren't designed for pixel-perfect flat panels. They're designed for fuzzy tubes. The picture looks weird on LCD. Even 2 weeks in, I'm still fuzzy myself on a lot of this stuff. But I grew up on the internet age. I'm silicon literate. I got opinions. Let's use LCDs and just bash people over the head to make their vision version. How about we buy some cheap and common games, then gut them for the spare CRTs? Yeah, honestly. So it's a problem of having spare parts on hand long term. Short of building our own factory for cranking out TV tubes, there is a temporary fix. Buy some cheap common games and use them as organ donors. And ruin a classic? Oh, she doesn't like us. I thought I was being smart. Cheap and common, Naomi. Not some rare find, but one that's still readily available. We can keep the cabinet itself so it can be restored later if need be. Point is, mixing and matching the guts will keep more fragile games afloat. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, that does make sense. And I bet I could sell Gavin on the idea too. We need more rental storage, but it'd mean less ordering parts and less downtime. Okay, I'll see if there's anything down here nobody would want and nobody would need. Oh my god, I thought she was gonna get upset. You know, I'm glad you're with us at the Funplex. Whether you take my side or Gavin's side, it's just nice to have someone who cares about games around. Ashley's fun, but she's way more into cosplay than gaming. But it's kind of odd, you know? What? Feeling like I'm not alone. Aww. I know that sounded dramatic, but I'm so used to toiling away in my little workshop with Ashley and Gavin not really caring about the things I love. They're kind enough to me and friendly, well, Ashley is, but ever since you showed up, I feel like there's someone with me. It's odd. I'm not complaining, though. I guess it just takes getting used to. After years of feeling perfectly content to be alone. Anyway, from strangers, crowds, it's not really my thing. I don't like to network like Gavin does or socialize like Ashley does. And now I'm making things weird, so I'm gonna stop there. Besides, I'm just about done taking inventory now on here. How about you and I? And we're gonna end it right there. We had a good time with Naomi, and I'll see you guys next time.